All right. I'm going to try to do this again. What's up, you sinners and saints, you heathens and demons, you beautiful, blasphemous bastards? What's going on? I'm going to try to do this again. I should be going to bed. This is usually about the time I'm thinking about going to bed. But catastrophe struck in the last attempt at this. I did get a chance to kind of play back. It seemed like my volume was okay, but I'm not sure because I got new speakers, so I'm not really sure if it was low or loud or whatever. It does seem like I have a better connection this go around. But yeah, disaster strikes my life nonstop. It seems like if bad luck had a picture, it would be my face. So my aunt locked the keys in the car because I let her borrow my car. Locksmith and $179 later, and I'm back, and we're gonna try to do this again. I never and my aunt paid for it, so it wasn't something that really cost me. It made her feel bad, and for a brief moment made me feel really bad because I wasn't sure how I was going to get to work tomorrow, but we figured it out. We called a locksmith. We did that modern American thing, right? And yeah, there I go with another notification. So I'm going to have to figure out if that's my computer, if there's anything I can do, or maybe it could be the settings in my OBS. Like I said, there was a new update, so I might need to get in there. Maybe apply a widget or something. So, I don't know. I'll see what I can do. Hopefully there won't be too much lag, if there's any lag at all. Oh, and Karen, I am streaming. Oh, no, yeah, you can't do that. Uh, oh my gosh, yeah, that was my Aunt Karen. uh, didn't realize I had that door open. um, yeah, so there's a new person for all of my enemies to dox and make fun of and do the awful human being thing that they do. Uh, what's up, Kent Hovind, CPA? Um, wow. Yeah, I guess I should have made sure they knew I was streaming. I thought I did. Um, but she's not used to it. She's not used to it. So, all right, we're gonna try to do this again. It feels good to kind of be able to do this again. Hopefully, it's not gonna buffer too much on us. It seems like my internet through my I don't know what's going on. I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'll try to figure that out as we try to like bring this thing together and make a show out of it if I can with this computer. Should be able to get a new computer in a few months if I need to. So we'll just try to make this work. But I want to talk about this, and it's good to be able to do this again, even though I kind of took my time. I've been really like trying to figure out this rebrand thing. Like Knock TV I don't think it's going to be it. It might be a couple different variations until I figure it out, until I figure out what it wants to be. I think Knock TV is a good representation of what I am thinking, but we'll get there eventually. I'll eventually have what I need to be able to kind of piece together a new intro and do all of that stuff. So this is going to be like a work in progress. And even I'm still like fleshing out all I don't know where I'm at, like spiritually and mentally and politically. But that's kind of what I want to talk about is like, I had been taking breaks, but I'd never taken a year-long break or over a year-long break. And essentially it comes down to like just toxicity within my family. I made a decision to not re-sign my lease at my old apartment, and moved in with my brother, who would not allow me to stream or talk politics or talk religion or really even breathe our own airs of existence in his hemisphere for a year. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. But that nightmare is over now. And now I have kind of freedom again. I've been back and forth whether I talked about the last year and everything that transpired, and I think I decided against it. Against. Outside of like what I think is important or what might come up. But I think that toxicity within family is a real thing, and it's been around before Trump, but I think it's just been exasperated. And it feels really good to be able to start trying to find my voice again. Like, you know, in my first attempt at this, I was talking about a stream that I was on when I first got out of work, and to be able to like argue with people again, and have a conversation, even though like the person arguing against me was basically just a troll. And that's one of the things that I don't miss is if I'm going to come back and do this, I'm going to try my hardest now that I'm sober to have serious interlocutors and serious conversations. I don't want to fuck around. I don't have enough time to fuck around. I don't think our country has enough time to fuck around with unserious people. And I had started to get into the story of my personal family and how politics have kind of destroyed both sides of it. Now, I'm just going to kind of reiterate it again, what I had talked about in the last stream, because emergency happened and I had to leave. So essentially, I was born here in Battle Creek, but I believe I was in the 4th grade the first time when my dad initially moved to North Carolina. Now, I was in the 4th grade. My little brother would have been in the 2nd grade. And, that became our life. We came... no, I think I was in the 2nd grade the first time my dad moved us down. And then we moved back with my mom up here for a year because we missed my mom. And then we moved back with my dad. And that's a whole thing that I could talk about, like manipulation of spouses and taking children from mothers so far away. That was a rift in the family right from the beginning that I was too young to really be aware of for a long time. But we were down in North Carolina, and I essentially became a Republican. I think I've talked about it openly, how I became what I was surrounded by. I had the rebel flag, the South will rise again, on my wall. I was a deeply racist and homophobic fuckface of a human being, and I was a Republican. I had a Republican ideology because that was pretty much what I was surrounded by back then. Even though like we were like our Generation X, we were the rebels. We were rebelling against our family's Christianity. So like it wasn't like we were walking around young Republicans and shit. We were rebelling against that. At the same time, that's what I was surrounded by, and that's the ideology that I had. And I started growing out of that through various instances that I've talked about. I had personal incidents that brought me out of my racism, personal incidents that brought me out of my homophobia, and essentially kind of melded my way to a moderate liberal position by the time 9/11 rolls around. And 9/11 rolled around. At first, I was all gung-ho George Bush, but it didn't take me long to realize that, we were being fed a bunch of shit, especially after I read the 9/11 Commission report. And that's pretty much what radicalized me against the Republican Party, and it's what has pushed me farther and farther left in my political philosophy, as I have studied and really studied and discovered my political philosophy, something that I'm still studying and discovering at the age of 48 now. Fuck, I'm 48 now. You know. And like I was saying in that first stream earlier today, I became that guy in the family that always talks politics, and you couldn't get him to shut the fuck up, right? And like I initially I understood the family's reaction to my politics and understood their aggravation at it because they weren't political, they weren't talking politics. But eventually, on my mom's side of the family, I think the liberalism that I was espousing spread to a few of them at first. But I never really messed with the other side of the family because of the dynamics. You know, like we were with dad the whole year. So when we came back up to visit Michigan during the summer and during the Christmas breaks, we spent that time with mom and her side of the family. So I was pretty much, you know, we knew dad's side of the family, but we didn't know them anymore, you know, since being down in North Carolina for so long. So I became that guy in our family that was the political guy that nobody could stand and just wanted to shut the fuck up. And I understood that. I got it. I understood that I had more knowledge on politics than they did, that I was actually studying political philosophy at the time, so I was meshing out that I definitely was no longer a right-wing minded person. I was finding my liberalism. I was discovering it. I was discovering what liberalism meant and how I could push that farther, basically through civil rights activism and basically like weed legalization activism is really how I got my start in like local politics here in Michigan. And I became like a pretty big part of like the Democrats here in Battle Creek. And initially, they at least wanted me to be, but I think most people in the Democratic Party, like the actual like party that tries to get people elected, are a bunch of fucking fake ass people, and that's no different here in Battle Creek with the local Democratic Party here trying to get people elected. But I did work for Mark Schauer's campaign, who was running for governor here in Michigan back then. I was actually at his party. He had lost that election, but we were at his party waiting for the election results to come in when Barack Obama won his first election. So I was deeply involved in politics where my family generally wasn't. Now, we get to the Trump era, and my family that's basically apolitical, doesn't have political opinions, suddenly start to get political opinions. And it happened, like I said in the last stream, a little bit before Trump. It started happening really in the second term of the Obama administration. I started seeing more and more family members really going to dark places with Obama, and just a bunch of like just the Republican bullshit that they were saying about Obama. But I could see like family members being radicalized in the other way. And I think it's a big problem when you make politics like a thing that is uncomfortable to speak around at the family table. You open the door for these apolitical people who are very ignorant of politics to be basically manipulated into a political ideology that they, if they understood what it was, would reject it, right? But they don't understand what it is because they haven't fleshed out their politics. They never fleshed out their politics. That's why a small government Republican 10 years ago is now totally cool with Trump putting American troops in American cities. What, bro, you like crime? You don't want crime to go away, bro? Like, just the dumbest fucking shit ever. The dumbest fucking shit ever. I mean, what we are witnessing is the dumbest shit ever, and it's dangerous. What we are living, I should say, instead of witnessing. What's up, Puff? Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. I think the left did annoy the right. Like trying to force people to be a certain thing is never going to really work out for you. For the first 4 years of Trump, I tried really hard not to judge my family members for their views. We would go really hard at each other, and then it became like so toxic that I was the one that had to kind of step away from doing that. And now all of my family members accuse me of being this person that attacks people for their politics. But generally, I feel like they attack me, and I just kind of defend myself or defend my political positions. And because I know my political positions and that I can usually defend them, it makes them feel inadequate or stupid, or whatever feelings that they get. But I kind of dismissed it as, well, they know not what they do, right, in that first term. And I think I even did that for the first part of this new shit. And I think I even did that, at least for my family, through the January 6th insurrections. And, like, it was really pathetic to see, like, family members go from, like, outraged at January 6th to supporting it, like, really, really quickly, right? And I've seen it kind of eat away at people in my family that were liberal as well, because so much of the family now have adopted the Trump ideology of MAGA that it has now become, and especially like the dynamics of the family, like the wealthier members of the family, especially on my mom's side, or on both sides, but the wealthier members adopt the ideology, and then the members of the family that like don't have as much money as those wealthier members, that want to impress those wealthier members, then they start to adopt the ideology. And it's like I've seen it, like I've seen liberals turn Trump, and like my brother was always a liberal, and he'll tell you to this day that he's still a liberal, yet he tried to turn me to Trump 3 times. At me, of all people. You try to turn me to Donald Trump? Like, you're my brother. You should know that's never going to fucking happen. And if you're still the liberal that you say that you claim to be, then you would never even try to do that. What the fuck is wrong with you? And I've just watched this cult take over my family. And now they believe him word for word. And it's like, you literally seen me reading those books, fleshing out my shit. You understand that I know my politics more than you do. And yet, you never trusted me like you trust this fascist? And how can they not know that it's fascist? So, like, when family members are saying they'll never take Medicaid, or they'll never put troops in the streets, all those things that they said, he's just being Trump when he says those things, but he's not going to do this. Or when they were so adamant that Kamala was going to start World War III and Trump was the no war president, and they just go back on all of that bullshit. They betray all of their own bullshit. And so, like, and when it comes to these family members, like I tried, and I don't know what anybody else has tried to do with them, but because I was that political guy that nobody wanted to talk to, and supposedly my extreme views on politics and my extreme views on religion are the reason why no family member wanted to have anything to do with me. I went out of my way to not involve family members with my politics, and it still wasn't good enough. And now, like, I honestly can't tell you whether or not half of those family members would defend me if I were to be arrested for no reason just for my political beliefs. Like, half of those family members probably think I should be arrested. Maybe more than half. And that's the toxicity of the politics of the family now. Like, they made politics a thing you don't talk about at the dinner table. It's an uncomfortable thing, so they can creep in with their misinformation in that void and turn a lot of people that don't really care about politics into fucking cult member fascists. And now that they're fascist and they're embracing fascism, even though they don't call it that, or they'll go whatever lengths they can to argue their way that it's not fascism. Like I literally in this group earlier, like I like to use definitions, right? Like if you're gonna say it's not a thing, I'm gonna read you the definition of the thing, and you tell me how it's not a thing. And the person couldn't tell me how Donald Trump is not fascist. He could only tell me that Donald Trump's not fascist because fascism is a left-wing ideology, and Donald Trump is right-wing, and therefore he cannot be fascist. He is a retard. And I'm going to call them what they are. He's a fucking retard. And he's a fascist. And then after all of that, he gives us lost cause argumentation. So you're a fascist and you are indeed a racist. Just a bad, and most of them are going to argue in bad faith because they're not going to tell you the truth. My dad is flipping out on my Facebook page right now because I just kind of went at him lightly. Because he came on my Facebook page trying to talk his bullshit. And now, like, I posted a meme about Joe Biden and how people are missing him and wanting him back. And he's like, see, you don't Google shit. And I'm like, Dad, you totally don't get it. You just don't get it. You just don't get it. And in fact, there are some new polls that show, like, people are starting to miss the security of Joe Biden. Not saying that Joe Biden was a good president, but, like, he had people around him that knew what they were doing. Although I personally think Joe Biden was a decent president. He was status quo. He did what he could. He could have done a lot more, but, you know, politics are what they are. We need to change the party. And I think it's, you know, like for me personally, because, you know, they all of my family members judge me for being poor, judge me for, you know, having different politics than them, and they essentially, like, I don't know, they had this delusion in their heads about who and what I am, that I'm like this lazy person that never fucking works, therefore poor, therefore not deserving of any respect, or not deserving to take anything that I say seriously. And I don't understand that. You know, I don't understand that. I take what they say seriously. I'm very disturbed by the things that they say. And I don't think that just because I'm a poor person takes away from my ability to see things. I committed felonies when I was 17 years old, and those felonies have followed me. And I've made bad decisions along the way as well. I fully admit that. I'm pretty much an epic failure in life. But I've researched politics way more than most people. I'm a lot more well-read than most people. I've read way more books than most people have. I actually do study these things. I do pay attention to these things. I do have a strong love of democracy and, you know, like the idea of what America is supposed to be, not what it always has been. A land where people can be people and accepted as that. A land where everybody has freedom, the same freedom. We don't live in that land yet. We've never lived in that land. We were getting closer to it. And now we're getting farther away from it. And I truly think it's because we allowed this mentality of letting it sit, right? You don't want to talk politics, fine. No, it shouldn't have been fine. You're a fucking American citizen. You have a brain. You need to start using it. You need to understand what politics are. You need to understand your position and what politics are going to benefit you. Look at all of the representatives. Like, man, I wish we had a true representation of political philosophy here in America to choose from, but we don't. And so, like, really, you've got to really look at the platforms of the two candidates that you do have on the national level, or really look at the opportunities on the local level to make a change. And when it comes to, like, family, like I'm not gonna let them. How can I say it? I'm not family with fascists. I'll never be family with fascists. I will be against fascists until the fascists kill me. I am an American. Yes, I consider myself a socialist, a democratic socialist. I love democracy. I love the American ideal. And I think the American ideal can be best expressed with a lot more socialism. It doesn't have to be all socialism, but when we're about to have a trillionaire, I think it's time for the American dream to be realized by all instead of a few. And I will always stand for that American dream. I will always stand against fascism of any kind, authoritarianship of any kind. If you don't want to call Trump a fascist, you cannot but call him an authoritarian, a dictator. You cannot possibly understand American civics and think that what he's doing with the military, with the National Guard, is anything but unconstitutional. Half the shit he's doing is unconstitutional. More than half the shit he's doing, and it's by intention. I am not family with fascists. They literally voted to kill my child. And I've given them a pass for it for too long. And I can't do that anymore. You have bad politics. You have been manipulated over a course of a very long time to have those bad politics. And now you're in a place to where you are embracing un-American ideals and you don't even realize it. And just because you don't know you're a fascist doesn't mean you're not a fascist. And until you can prove to me that what is happening right now is not fascism, instead of just trying to give me alternate definitions that you have created in your brain, bubblegum, CJ Cox. I'm not going to think of it anything but. And I think we as Americans, we have a moral obligation to fight fascism in America. A moral obligation to fight it. Whatever the costs. Which is ultimately because that's been like the kind of one of, outside of like the rebrand, it's like, do I really want to like get in the mix? Like I've already put my opinions out there, and I'm small. It's not like, you know, they're going to be coming after me immediately, but I've burned enough bridges now that like I said, more than half of my family, as soon as ICE starts coming after regular Americans, are going to be pointing at me first. But we have to stand for democracy. We have to stand for freedom. We have to stand for freedom for everybody. And that means that the politics of the family, the toxifying of the politics of the family has to run its course. And we have to dissect ourselves from them. They are the enemy now. And they've made it apparent. You don't get to vote to kill my child and then tell me you love her. I will not stand for the hypocrisy anymore. You don't get to vote to kill me or to discriminate against me or my fellow Americans for the colors of their skin or their nationality. You don't get to send American troops to my city, which hasn't happened yet. I'm not saying it has. I'm just saying, hypothetically, or what is happening if I were to live in D.C. or California. And federal troops are here in the form of ICE agents. I remember we used to have disdain for fascism here, for dictatorship, for lack of freedom, for police states. Police states were what communist Russians did, not democracy-loving Americans. And now Trump is getting rid of cash bail. He's trying to make it a crime to burn the flag, taking away First Amendment freedom. We have a moral obligation to fight fascism, even if it's our most beloved family members, even if they're the nicest family members that we can think of. And I can think of a couple right now that have never done me no harm, but they're fascists. They don't know they're fascists. They wouldn't call themselves fascist. I wish they would understand it. But honestly, in my opinion, we're reaching that point. I'm reading stuff about how GOP is clearly going to try to go after the woman's vote. They want to take away women's right to vote. After that, they're going to go after civil rights. Like, if they can fix these elections to where they can't lose, this country's going to be a really fucked up place. And I'll be sitting here until the moment they come for me. Occasionally. Or maybe a lot. Because I think we have a moral obligation. Now, the only consideration is, the ramifications to my daughter for that. Because they, of course they're going to, it'll trickle down to her. Even though I don't think she has a clear political philosophy, and it's definitely not mine. Yeah, it's about to happen in Chicago. What's up, Robin Webster? The fact that so many Americans just seem cool with it, that they just seem cool, like, yeah, we're gonna send American troops in to police American citizens, and now we're gonna arm those troops, and so many people are fine with it. This is America. Who's coming up? People want to just keep coming up. Hopefully I'm not getting a lot of lag. I'm going to have to watch this back before I go to bed. And I'm going to end this short, but I don't know. I really wanted to talk about that. I wanted to talk about how we have to find family where we can find them now. I don't think it can't be along bloodlines now. And that's a very sad thing. It's a very sad thing. I remember being in North Carolina really missing all of my family. Like, really, really missing them and wanting to know them better than I did. I remember family reunions where we would all get along and have so much fun together. I remember card games and Thanksgivings and Christmases. And that, even though they try to portray me for so long as this like crazy political dude that talks too much and needs to shut up, it's like I was doing it because I knew that they didn't know, and I just wanted them to know. I was doing it out of a place of love for them. And it doesn't seem like they have that love anymore for us. They'll pretend like they do sometimes until they get with the rest of their friends and talk about that liberal trash that needs to be locked away and put in jail. Where the fuck are we at? Where the fuck are we at? I'll tell you where we're at. We're at the place we have to fight. So I'm going to be trying to do this a little bit more. I've just got to figure out this brand and like figure out if my computer's really going to let me do it. It'll be really nice to have a room and see if people show and how the computer's going to react to that. See if I'm having too much lag issues. See if maybe I can't figure out why I'm having a keyframe frequency issue. And it seems to be a bad one. So but I don't know. I just had to get that off my chest, and I probably should have wrote it down, because if I'd have wrote it down, if I'd have wrote down at least an outline or really thought it out, I have been thinking it out, but just internally. But I really think if I'd have wrote this down, I probably could have expressed it better. But I think there's something genuine in just going off the cuff and how you feel of what you've observed. You know, especially like today, like yesterday, like Dad broke our we don't talk politics on Facebook truce that we've had temporarily for like 6-7 years, and he didn't like my response, and he's really like flipping the fuck out, and I don't even know why, really. Because I want people to have rights and freedom. Because I'm a socialist atheist, and I don't know. I don't know. It's just what it's going to have to be, I think. And I think that there's going to have to be a reckoning of this. Like this, we're going to have a reckoning of you know, like if they want to go fash, maybe we have to go fash to end the fash. You know, and I know like that's fucked up to say, but like, how are we going to end this white supremacy once and for all? How do you end an ideology? It's not pleasant to think about. I don't think you can, without doing like very drastic fucked up shit that makes us as bad as the worst of them. So I think America is probably just fucked. When half of America, or roughly, I'd say probably like 35% of America is just openly embracing fascism, even if they don't understand it. But that shouldn't be possible here. You would think, right? You would think wrong. And I'm really sick of these fucking fascist apologists trying to like just apologize the fuck out of it, right? Like, you know, it's bad enough, and it's bad enough that they're fascists, but they're also pedophile protectors. And those are like the worst fucking people. Like, I even think they're worse than the actual pedophiles, because they don't commit the fucking act, they just protect the people that do. And it's not worse. What the fuck am I saying? I'm being stupid. But it's fucking bad. It's disgusting. You know, if Bernie Sanders was in the Epstein files and he was a pedophile, fuck Bernie Sanders. You know, that's that easy. I don't care about our politics at that point. You're a fucking pedophile. Like, what is wrong with these people? How can they not see it? It's willful ignorance. And it's a deal breaker. And it's always been a deal breaker. It's just, I guess it took me a while to see it. Because as much as they like to say we're the crazy ones that push our shit, it's really the other way around. It's all projection with them. Everything is projection. And that's what we have to realize. They don't stand for shit. They only want to watch the world burn. And it's time to fight them. And I mean fight them. Not talking, but fighting. I can't remember the name of the organization. I have it written down somewhere. It's just, it's a complete mess. I have no organization right now. I'm still like this little room in here. I have nothing, and then still trying to get like settled in and everything unpacked. And but this organization, it's like ex-vets that are devoted to fighting fascism in America. And they have, it's like the Anti-Fascist Reading Club, I think it's called, but they have literature, and it's basically, you know, tactics to combat fascism when it hits your community. And this is the information that we need to know, because it's going to be hard to really know friend from foe, because I mean, we have to assume like not all of these military people are going to be really down to carry through with their orders. We'll have to see how it turns out. I'm not sure what's going on in Washington, D.C., but you have to assume that
hopefully a lot of military personnel actually understand their oaths and they won't carry out illegal orders, unconstitutional orders. We're going to have to see. It's going to be really, this is going to be fucked up shit, man. But we're back there. And like for people to try to pretend that we're not, no, we are. And it's like they're not even really fucking hiding it. So I think I need to come back and start talking some more, find my voice again. I wish the channel wasn't in YouTube obscurity as it is, but it is, and we'll deal with that here. Maybe I'll start something somewhere else. I don't know. I don't really know. But I think I need to find my voice again and combat where I can combat, and hopefully do it in a much more responsible way this time. Now that I am sober, I'm not drinking anymore. Yeah, I think it's time. Now that I'm actually with the, in a place that I can do it again. I'm not being forced not to. I'm not being dictated not to. I'm excited for it. I'm just not excited for like the same old, same old. I don't want to get back and rehash everything with Smokey Saint, or I don't even want him really in my hemisphere. I'm not getting back into that toxicity. I'm not going to participate in it. I'm here to have serious conversations this time. Really serious conversations. And if you're not going to be a serious interlocutor, I'm gonna call you out for it. I'm just not gonna. I'm not gonna try to really fall for the bullshit. The guy earlier, he just wasn't a serious fucking interlocutor. There's no reason to take him seriously. But that's most of them nowadays, unfortunately. I am really like tuned out, so I would appreciate like anybody watching on the playback, anybody watching right now, like, shoot me. I don't think you can shoot me links, but like shoot me channel names. Even if you think that I know the channel, like there's a good chance that like it's been so long since I've really been a part of the community. I don't know where anybody is anymore. So if you can direct me to atheist places, political places, that would be a help. Outside of that, I'm not sure when the next time I'll stream is. Hopefully it'll be something a little more put together. I am hoping to get StreamYard up and going in the next week or two. Start having some conversational rooms, some topic conversational rooms, and really have serious conversations. That's my goal this time. Not none of this drunken, emotional rage bullshit that I used to do. We ain't got time for that no more. It's time to get serious. It's time to talk. And it's time to fight. So with that, glad I got to actually finish this time, because it's just a rambling stream, a ranting stream, a reflection stream. But I wanted to get it out today. I felt it was time to like, I don't expect any of my family members to actually watch this, but if they happen to know, like, I don't care anymore about your opinions of me, because my opinions of you are the worst they can be. And I don't care if you think that I'm whatever you think that I am. I don't care if you think that your Christianity is superior to my lack of Christianity, because you're all fucking hypocrites that don't follow it anyway. I don't care anymore. Go and be the fascist you are. Leave me out of your fascism, because I'll never be turned to it. Leave me alone. I ain't got time for you. I'm going to try this time to do something real, I think. So we'll see how that goes. All right, yeah, I'll definitely. I'll try to, Puff. I gotta. Yeah, I'll try to like make a post on the page or something like, or at least put it up to where people know that it's gonna be there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and maybe I'll actually do what I stopped doing so long ago and start trying to like schedule some one-on-ones. I always enjoy doing those. I just didn't enjoy trying to schedule them. So maybe I'll try to get into that a little bit as well. I am a Taoist now, but I'm a philosophical Taoist. I don't really believe in any supernatural bullshit. So I still do consider myself an atheist, just not a raging atheist. I would say I'm probably more philosophically attuned to agnosticism now. I think that there's the potential for mystery in the universe, the potential for the unknown. We don't know everything. So I'm really like interested in fleshing that out and see like how maybe hardcore atheists would react to that. But really, really interested in arguing with some Christians again. I miss it. I really, really, really miss it. It's been too long. I need my fix. I need my fix. So I'd like to try to set that up. So until the next time, y'all, I really appreciate you being here. Thanks for listening to me rambling along. Yeah, maybe I'll get on Facebook and tell Dad chill out. You know, I haven't been on Facebook since I got out of work. You know, you don't have to go off on me. He's really mad because I posted this meme about Joe Biden and how like new polls are showing that people are missing him, and it's totally a meme just set to kind of trigger MAGAs. So yeah, it wasn't like a truth statement that I was trying to make on my Facebook page, but he's treating it as such. So, but you know, I did kind of give him a hard time for not using Google. So it's my own fault. It's my own fault. I deserve it. But maybe tell him, dude, Dad, chill. I work early. I got to go to bed, and maybe not be so triggered. Don't be so triggered by your own son and your own son's politics, and for him being who he is and who he's always been for the last fucking 30 years. You know, chill, bro, chill. All right, y'all have a good night.